Good morning everyone. Welcome to the current affairs session for ICAR 2021 Administrative Officer exam on EduTap. And my dear friends, today we are going to discuss the 15 most important MCQs of reports and indices for the ICAR 2021 Administrative Officer exam. So before starting the session, if you are new to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates of the courses and videos offered by us. And you can also join our Telegram channel to get the access to the PDF of the lectures. To join the Telegram channel, kindly click on the link given in the description below. So my dear friends, now let's move on to the session. Let's get started. So here is the very first question for all of you, and all of you are requested to answer this question in the comment section below. If we talk about the very first question, the first question is, which among the following state has topped the recently released SDG India Index and Dashboard 2020-2021 partnership in the decade of the action? So my dear friends, please tell me that which one of the following state has topped this particular index. See, these reports and indices are really very important and are really a very important part of the current events, and that is the reason this particular session we are conducting. And please answer the question in the comment section below whether it is Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Kerala and Uttarakhand. So my dear friends, the right answer to this particular question is option C, that is Kerala. So Kerala is a state which has topped the recently released SDG India Index and Dashboard 2021. So moving on to the second question. So my dear friends, the second question is, as per the recently June 2021 released SDG India Index and Dashboard 2021, what is the number of states and union territories which have been categorized as front runners? So here you are required to tell me the number of states and union territories which have been categorized as front runners as per the SDG India Index and Dashboard 2021. Whether it is 12, 15, 18 or 22, please tell me in the comment section below. So if we talk about the right answer to this particular question, the right answer to this question is option D, that is 22. So that means there were 22 number of states or union territories which have been categorized by this particular report as the front runner. So let's discuss this report in little more detail. Okay, so my dear friends, this particular report was released by Niti Aayog, and if we talk about the overall score of India in the SDG India Index and Dashboard 2021, then India's score has increased from 60 to 66 in year 2020. And my dear friends, if we talk about the top performing states and the union territories, then Chandigarh has once again topped the list of union territories with a score of 79, which was followed by Delhi with a score of 68. And if we talk about the states, then Kerala is the state which has topped this particular list in the SDG India Index and Dashboard 2021. And my dear friends, apart from that, if we talk about the second question, then as we've already discussed, there are 22 states or union territories which were categorized as front runners. The front runners are those states which have achieved the score between the range from 65 to 99, and the 15 states or union territories were categorized as performer as they achieved the score of 50 to 64 in the 2020-2021 index. So my dear friends, from this particular chart we can directly see the top performing state was Kerala among the states, and the bottom performing state was Bihar, which have only attained the score of 52. And if you talk about the union territories, then Chandigarh was a union territory which has topped this particular list in this particular index with a score of 79, and Dadar and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu were the worst performing union territories with a score of only 62. So my dear friends, here you can see the list of the states which have topped this particular index, as per the goals, as per the SDG, that is Sustainable Development Goals. And if we talk about the top 5 fast moving states, then my dear friends, Mizoram was the state which was a top which has topped this particular list, as its score has increased from 56 to 68. That means there was a change in 12 of the score of Mizoram as per the SDG India Index and Dashboard 2020-2021. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you, and this is once again a very important report which is required to be covered by you, because this report is really very much probable to be asked in the exam. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. According to the recently released All India Survey on Higher Education 2019-2020, which state has highest number of colleges in India? So from this particular question, you are required to tell me the state which is having the highest number of colleges in India as per the report, that is All India Survey on Higher Education. Once again, a very important report. And my dear friends, please tell me in the comment section below that which state has the highest number of colleges in India. And here the options are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. And my dear friends, the right answer to this particular question is option A, that is Uttar Pradesh. So Uttar Pradesh is a state which is having the highest number of colleges in India. So if we talk about this particular report was being released by Ministry of Education. And if we talk about the all India average of the college density, then it is 30, and Uttar Pradesh was the state which is having the highest number of colleges. And if we talk about the state which has followed Uttar Pradesh in the list of highest number of colleges, then it was Maharashtra and Karnataka. Karnataka was on the third position. On the second position, it was Maharashtra. So if we talk about some other key findings of this particular All India Survey on Higher Education 2019-2020 report, then my dear friends, as per this report, there were total 1043 number of universities in India, and there were 42,343 colleges. And if we talk about the highest number of colleges in any state, then it was in the Uttar Pradesh. Okay, and my dear friend, there are around 3.85 crore students in India. And if we talk about the number of teachers, then there are 15.03 lakhs in India. So if we talk about the pupil to teacher ratio, then it is 26, and the gender parity index was 1.01. So these are the some important key findings from this particular report, that is All India Survey on Higher Education 2019-2020. Moving on to the next question. According to the recently released Financial Stability Report, what is the estimated gross non-performing assets ratio of India's scheduled commercial banks by March 2022 under the baseline scenario? See, here once again a very important report from the exam point of view. And my dear friends, please tell me that what was the estimated GNPA ratio of India's scheduled commercial banks by March 2022? And the right answer to this particular question is option C, that is 9.80%. So if we talk about this particular report, then my dear friends, Financial Stability Report was being released by Reserve Bank of India. Okay, and if we talk about the key findings of this particular report, then if we talk about the GNPA ratio, then it has risen from 7.48% in March 2021 to 9.80% by March 2022. And my dear friends, if we talk about the public sector banks, then for public sector banks, this particular ratio was 9.54% in March 2021, which has increased to 12.52% by March 2022. And if we talk about the non-banking financial companies, then this particular ratio was 6.4% in March 2021. And if we talk about the net non-performing asset ratio for the scheduled commercial banks, then that was 2.4% in March 2021. So some other important key findings are also being mentioned here. You can quickly go through them. And my dear friends, see, this particular report and the findings of this particular report once again are very important, as it were released by Reserve Bank of India. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Now let's move on to the next question, which is here on your screen. So once again, an very important question from the Unified District Information System for Education Plus report 2019-2020, and you are required to tell me in the comment section below that as per this particular report, what is the total strength of teachers engaged in the school education in 2019-2020. So here once again an important report from the education sector, and here you are required to tell me the total strength of the teachers who are engaged in school education in 2019-2020. So the right answer to this particular question is option D, that is 96.87 lakh. Okay, so here we can directly see some important key findings of this particular report, and here you can see that the total number of schools in India are 15.1 lakh. And if we talk about the government schools, out of these 15.1 lakh, there are 10.3 lakh government schools. And my dear friends, there are 26.4 crore students which are enrolled in this particular schools. And if we talk about the total teachers, which was already being asked in the question, then my dear friends, the answer was 96.8 lakh, and all these findings are as per the academic year 2019-2020. And if we talk about again a very important parameter, that is the gross enrollment ratio, then my dear friends, this particular report also gives us key findings in at 4 different levels, that is for upper primary level school, for elementary level, for secondary level, as well as for higher secondary level. And if we talk about the gross enrollment ratio, then my dear friends, it was highest at the elementary level, as the percentage at this particular level was 97.8%. But if we talk about the enrollment of Divyang students, then my dear friends, this particular thing has increased by 6.52% over 2018-2019, which is once again a very important improvement, considering India. And my dear friends, that is really resembling us that how India is moving towards, and how India is really enhancing the livability of the Divyang people, as they are providing education to these people. Okay, and my dear friends, if we talk about the gross enrollment ratio of girls at these particular levels, then once again this was highest at the elementary level with 98.7%. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Now moving on to the next question. According to the recently released ILO Global Estimates on International Migrant Workers Research and Methodology, women constitutes what percentage of migrant workers population? So once again, a report which is really very important, because it is being released by International Labour Organization, and you are required to tell me in the comment section below that according to this particular report, the women constitutes what percent of migrant workers population? And here the options are 36.5%, 38.5%, 41.5%, and 44.5%. So please tell me in the comment section below that what is the right answer to this particular question. And the right answer is option C, that is 41.5%. So if you talk about this particular report, it was published by International Labour Organization, and as per this particular report, there are total of 272 million international migrants globally, and out of these 245 million, you will be surprised to see that out of these 272 million international migrants, 245 million are of the working age, that is people who are 15 years plus. Okay, and apart from this, the number of international migrant workers has increased to 169 million globally in year 2019, which shows an increase of 3% from year 2017. And my dear friends, if we talk about the contribution, if we talk about the composition of these international migrant workers in the global labor force, then they represent 4.9% of the total global labor force all over the world. So once again, this is once again a very serious cause of concern. And my dear friends, once again a very important finding which was being asked in the question itself, that is women constitutes 41.5% of these migrant workers, and that too this 41.5% represents 70 million. And if we talk about men, then men constitutes 58.5% of the migrant workers. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Now moving on to the next question. So the next question is, according to the recently released Global Cybersecurity Index 2020, what is the rank of India? So please, my dear friends, please mark my words here. India's rank is really very much important from the exam point of view. India's rank is always being asked in the exam. And please tell me in the comment section below that what was India's rank as per the Global Cybersecurity Index 2020. And here the right answer is option B, that is India's rank was 10. So if we talk about this particular report, then this particular report was being released by International Telecommunication Union, and this particular report is based on 20 indicators which classified under 5 main pillars, and these pillars are the legal measures, technical measures, organizational measures, capacity development measures, and cooperation measures. And if we talk about the country which has topped this particular index, then United States is the country which has topped the index. On the second position, it was followed by United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, and the Estonia was on the third position. And if we talk about India specific finding, then India with a score of 97.5 was on the 10th position. in this particular index. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Now moving on to the next question of the today's session. So please tell me in the comment section below that which one of the following country has topped the recently released Inclusive Internet Index. Here the options are Sweden, United States, Spain and Singapore. So please tell me in the comment section below that which country has topped the Inclusive Internet Index. And my dear friends, the right answer to this question is option A, that is Sweden. So Sweden is the country which has topped this particular index. So if we talk about this particular index, then my dear friends, it is being released by Economist Intelligence Unit in partnership with Facebook. So these are the two organizations which in collaboration releases this particular report. And as per this report says that out of 120 countries, 77 countries have recorded an overall improvement. But there was a loss of schooling due to the low internet access and adoption. And my dear friends, here some other key findings are also being given. And if we talk about the gender parity, then this particular report says that 3% people said that no aspect of their lives had seen a dramatic shift due to the online activities. Okay, so I hope that this is very much clear. And if you talk about the top performing and worst performing states as well as India's position in this, India's performance in this particular index, then my dear friends, this particular index was being topped by Sweden. And if you talk about India's position, then India along with Thailand was on the 49th position in this particular index. And if you talk about the worst performing country, then it was Burundi, which was at the bottom of the list with the 120th rank. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Moving on to the next question. The next question is, which among the following organization has recently released the World Press Freedom Index? So once again, a very important report. And my dear friends, please tell me in the comment section below that which organization has released the World Press Freedom Index. Here the options are Transparency International, Economist Intelligence Unit, Institute for Economics and Peace, and the last option is Reporters Without Borders. And my dear friends, the right answer to this particular question is option D, that is Reporters Without Borders. So this is the organization which has released this particular report. Now let's move on to the next question of the today's session. So the next question is, as per the recently released World Press Freedom Index 2021, in how many categories does the countries were categorized in this particular report? Whether it was in the 3 categories, 4 categories, 5 categories or 6 categories, please tell me in the comment section below. So World Press Freedom Index 2021 is being released by Reporters Without Borders, that is the releasing body. Please, now this particular question is based on the criteria on which it analyzes these particular countries. And here that's how the question is being framed, that in how many categories does this countries were categorized. And the right answer to this particular question is option C, that is 5. So this particular report divides these countries into 5 categories, and we are going to discuss them in the upcoming slide. So my dear friends, if we talk about this particular report, then this particular report ranks 180 countries on different parameters such as pluralism, media independence, media environment, as well as self-censorship, the legislative framework, transparency, and the quality of infrastructure which supports the production of news and information in that particular country. And if we talk about the 5 categories, then these particular countries are being divided by this particular report in 5 categories, which are the good situation, satisfactory situation, problematic situation, difficult situation, as well as very serious situation. And if you talk about the number of countries which was highest in any category, then this particular thing was in the problematic situation. That means most of the countries are in the problematic situation as per this particular report, that is the World Press Freedom Index, which is released by Reporters Without Borders. Okay, and if we talk about the top performing countries as per this particular report, then Norway is the country which has topped this particular index with a global score of 6.72. And if we talk about the worst performing country, then it was Eritrea at the 180th position with a score of 81.45. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. And now I am also sure that you are getting a fair idea that what kind of questions are being asked from these kind of reports. So now let's move on to the next question, which is here on your screen. So according to the recently released 2020 Human Rights Report, which among the following are the human rights issues in India? So once again, this particular question is being based on the important findings about India as per the 2020 Human Rights Report. So here you are going to tell me in the comment section below that what are the human rights issues which are being found in India as per the 2020 Human Rights Report. Whether it is harassment and detention of the journalists, or it is widespread corruption at all levels of the government, or the restrictions on the political participation. And my dear friends, the right answer to this particular question is option D, that is all of the above. So all of the above are the issues which are being found by the 2020 Human Rights Report in India. So if you talk about the authority which releases this particular report, then it is the US State Department. So US State Department releases this particular report, that is 2020 Human Rights Report. And my dear friends, if we talk about the India specific finding, as we have already discussed, that the harassment and the detention of journalists is once again a very important issue which is being found by this particular report. And apart from that, this particular report also mentions about the respective rules on the non-government organizations as well as the restrictions on the political participation. And that is the reason the widespread corruption at all levels in the government and the lack of investigation and accountability for violence against a woman, as well as the forced and compulsory child labor. So these are some really important things from which India is suffering from. And I hope that this particular question is very much clear to all of you. Now let's move on to the next question of the today's session. That is, which among the following statement is wrong as per the recently released Global Report on Food Crisis? So once again, a very important report. So please tell me that which of the following statement is wrong as per the recently released Global Report on Food Crisis 2021. The option A is, this is the fifth edition of the Global Report on Food Crisis 2021. The option B says 63% of the people facing food insecurity are from African continent. Option C says, as per the report, 75 million children are stunted, and option D says none of the above. And my dear friends, the right answer is none of the above, as all the above given statements are correct as per the Global Report on Food Crisis 2021. So if we talk about this particular report, it is being released by Global Network Against Food Crisis. And my dear friends, this was the fifth edition of the report, which focuses on 55 countries, which accounts for 97% of the humanitarian assistance. And as per the report, see, we are having a very important finding, as this particular report says that 63% or around 98 million people in the world, in the African continent, are facing food insecurity. Okay. And around 75 million children were stunted and 15 million were wasted globally. So all of you are requested to tell me in the comment section below that what exactly the stunted and wasted stands for. Okay, so my dear friends, now let us move on to the next question. The next question is, according to the recently released report, Global Energy Review 2021, by what percentage is the global energy demand is going to change in year 2021? Whether it will be changed by 4% or 4.6%, 5.4% or 6.1%, please answer this question in the comment section below. So see, once again, a very important report from the exam point of view, that is Global Energy Review 2021. And if we talk about the right answer, the right answer to this particular question is option B, that is 4.6%. So my dear friends, this particular report is important because it is being released by International Energy Agency, and all these reports which are being released by these important international bodies are really very much important from the exam point of view. And if we talk about the key findings about this particular report which has been provided by this particular report, then if we talk about the global carbon emission targets, then this particular report says that these carbon dioxide emissions are going to increase by 1.5 billion tons in 2021 all over the world, and these emissions are going to increase by almost 5% this year to 33 billion tons. And if you talk about the global energy demand, then this particular report finds out that the global energy demand is going to increase by 4.6% in 2021, which that is a push of 0.5% in the demand above 2019 levels. And once again, one more important finding from this particular report, that is 70% of the projected increase, which they have already said that this particular increase be there in the global energy demand. Out of this, 70% of these projected increase will be in the emerging markets and the developing economies. And if it talk about the once again another important thing, this particular report says that the demand for all the fossil fuels is going to grow significantly in year 2021. So I hope that this is very much clear to all of you. Now let's move on to the next question of the today's session, that is, which among the following country has received maximum remittance inflows in 2020 as per the recently released report, that is COVID-19 crisis through a migration lens. See, this particular report is important because it is being released by World Bank, and you are required to tell me in the comment section below that as per this report which is being released by World Bank, which country receives the maximum remittance inflows in year 2020. Here the options are China, Mexico, India and Philippines. And my dear friends, the right answer to this question is option C, that is India. So India is the country which has received the highest remittance inflows in 2020 as per the COVID-19 crisis through a migration lens report from the World Bank. So my dear friends, if we talk about this report provides us the information about the migration and remittance flow along with the salient policy developments in the area of international migration and development. And if we talk about the top 3 countries which have received the maximum remittance inflow in year 2020, then this was topped by India, followed by China and Mexico. Here India received $83 billion in year 2020 as in the form of remittances. So that is the important point of view, and that is the important information on which the question was being asked from. Okay, so now moving on to the next question and the last session of the today's session, which is here on your screen. So my dear friends, please tell me in the comment section below that which among the following organization has recently released the report, that is Rural Health Statistics 2019-2020, whether it was released by Niti Aayog, World Health Organization, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, or the Indian Council of Medical Research. So please tell me in the comment section below that which organization has released this particular report, that is Rural Health Statistics 2019-2020. And my dear friends, the right answer to this particular question is option C, that is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has released this particular report. So if we talk about this particular report, my dear friends, this report says that there is an overall shortage of 76.1% specialists at the community health centers in the rural areas. And currently, as per this report, 5,183 community health centers are functioning in India, but India is behind its target of 6,000 community health centers. So that's how this particular report also says that there is a shortfall of 78.9% of the surgeons, 78.2% of the physicians, and 69.7% of the obstetricians and gynecologists, as well as 78.2% of the pediatricians. So that's how this particular report tells us about that where exactly India is lagging behind in its medical workforce. And my dear friends, here you can easily see the leading states as well where this shortfall is the maximum in this particular different kind of specialty, that is physician, gynecologists, surgeons, as well as pediatricians. So my dear friends, that was all from the today's session. That was the last question. I hope that today's session was useful and fruitful to all of you. If you have any queries, you can drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in, and you can also call us at 8146207241. So once again, thank you for joining us. Wish you all happy learning.